Yes, of course. You're welcome everyone online and here join us. So unfortunately, there picked some common bugs, sort of bugs, something. What I thought to do was online, not very from very far away. She's always sent it in her hotel room. With the being Antarctica, the one. So I'm very grateful today to present Dr. Devsamridhi. She's an assistant professor at the University of Allahabad, India. She's been working in Antarctica, mainly in the Land-Amery region, as doing both geochemistry and structural geology. And she's visiting us for about 6 weeks now on a very nice grant from SCAR Instant. We are collaborating with women from all over of the Land-Amery region and of Antarctica. A couple of weeks ago, Devsamridhi gave a seminar for earth science, focusing on the science of the work. And today's seminar will be a bit more broader, presenting the Indian Antarctic Program and discussing various aspects of potential collaborations. And that sort of gives an overview of what we're working on. So we're happy to find a way to pass on chat. And it's monitoring the Zoom chat here and go from next words and I'll have a bit of discussion afterwards. So
are you recording?
It's recording now.
Yeah.
I hope so. And with that, I will leave the stage and leave the screens and just to that.
Hi, so am I audible?
Yes, nice.
Yep. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Tobias. So, good morning and namaskar, as we say in Indian Hindi language. So it's a pleasure to be here and to have the opportunity to explore a topic that not only advances polar science, but um, can also shape international cooperation in Antarctica. So, which brings me to the topic of today's talk, Indian Antarctic Program, Scientific Endeavours and Pathways for Australian Collaborations. Also, a quick note that sorry, I'm recovering from a throat infection, so please excuse my raspy voice. That's also why I'm joining you online today, and thanks for bearing with me. So, I'm a geologist. My expertise is in hard rock petrology and mineralogy, but I will try to cover like most of the important projects that are ongoing under Indian Antarctic Program in this presentation. So, so India's engagement in polar science spans over 4 decades with dedicated research stations, multidisciplinary projects, and of course growing logistic capabilities. Today, I'll take you through the journey and scope of the Indian Antarctic Program, its scientific foundations, key achievements, and evolving priorities, and then explore how these can align with and of course how these can complement Australia's strengths and ambition in the Antarctic realm. Whether whether it's collaborative geoscience, climate research, or operational logistics, I believe there are clear and exciting pathways where India and Australia can come together for impactful polar science. So the Indian Antarctic Program, is overseen by the organization called NCPOR, the National Center for Polar and Ocean Research, which is located in Goa. Um, it functions under the Ministry of Earth Sciences, Government of India. India's Antarctic journey began in 1981 with a 21-member team which sailed aboard the Norwegian vessel called Polar Circle and reached Antarctica in January 1982. This expedition was a major geopolitical milestone, establishing India uh, as a participant in global polar research, and laid the foundation for its future research presence on the continent. The team, the first team, laid the groundwork for India's first permanent station, which we call Dakshin Gangotri, which was established just 2 years later in 1983. This station was, however, decommissioned in 1990 after being partly buried by ice, but it's now used for glacial retreat monitoring, as now it is being monitored since 1983 to understand the effect of climate change on this glacier. And and this is the reason why this sorry for this. Yeah, this is the reason why Dakshin Gangotri is designated as ASPA Antarctic Specially Protected Area number 163. This is Dakshin Gangotri when it started getting buried in ice. So established after the decommissioning of Dakshin Gangotri, Maitri station was established in 1989, and uh, which is India's main base in Dronning Modland. Its location is in Shirmakar Oasis, and it is equipped with facilities for research in biology, earth sciences, glaciology, atmospheric sciences, and more, which I will share in my subsequent slides. So, and then in search of new grounds, India found its location for its second base, which is about 3,000 kilometers away from Maitri. And then we established our second station named Bharati in Lasuman Hills, which is on the coast of Princess Elizabeth Land. This was established in 2012. So here's a quick comparison between Maitri and Bharati. So, living capacity is slightly higher in Bharati, which accommodates around 47 people year round. But Maitri can host 25 in winter and up to 60 during summer using container modules. Laboratory infrastructure wise, also Bharati is more advanced with a dedicated lab space of 270 square feet, and then basic scientific equipment already in place. Both stations are dependent on ship-based helicopters for inland travel during field seasons, which are available only when the ship is nearby. Then, but we do have snow vehicles like piston bully and snow scooters available year-round at both stations, but their use is subject to logistic planning and all. So this slides gives a quick overview of how and when we travel to Antarctica. So air operations are possible only during the summer between November to February. Scientists fly from Goa to Cape Town on commercial flights and then onward to Maitri and Bharati stations via the Dromlan chartered flights flew by ALCI. These flights are highly weather dependent. I'm sure like most of you know about these how this system works, and are coordinated under the COMNAP framework. Ship operations usually begin in December and can extend until April of the following year. The ship typically exits India Bay, which is near the coast of Maitri, by the end of March. And after that, the field season ceases for the particular year and then restarts in November and sometimes in October and as well. So these are the ALCI flights from, I'm sure like most of you know about these flights, and because Australia is also part of COMNAP. These are the ALCI flights from Cape Town to Maitri. These are like IL 76 flies for long long flights between Cape Town and Novo runway. And then these are the small basilar and twin otters, which are used for intra-Antarctica flights. This is our vessel, which is a Russian ice-breaking uh, cargo vessel called Vasily Golovinin. The Russian uh, the cargo vessel has been chartered by NCPOR to resupply its Antarctic research stations. Like specifically, it delivers cargo, fuel, personnel, and uh, food as well to the Bharati and Maitri stations. And this is it's a part of a contract between FESCO and NCPOR. So two ship-based helicopters are available for scientists working in the field and for transferring cargo as well. The smaller one is from Ultimate Heli, which is a South African helicopter service, and it has a capacity of around 4 people. And the larger one is Russian-made Kamov, and which can carry about 16 people and lots of stuff. So now coming to the scientific part, India's Antarctic research spans across six broad themes, which include climate processes, environment processes, crustal evolution, terrestrial and near-shore ecosystems, observational research, and polar technology and capacity building. So, which overall addresses both scientific inquiry as well as strategic development. We have done 44 expeditions so far. This year will be our 45th, and with nearly 2,000 members participated in the expeditions, and from around 120 universities, different universities and institutions. So now I'll briefly talk about some international projects ongoing under the Indian Antarctic Program, starting with SIVHA, which is a tri-national collaboration between UK, India, and Norway. And I think they drilled a 500-meter ice core in coastal Dronning Moorland. And so this is an integrated study of snow, air, biogeochemical processes, glaciological processes, and ice core records as well to understand the role and response of cryosphere with the climate system and their global linkages. One of the uh, one of the key projects under the Indian Antarctic Program is STAPLES, which stands for Spatio-Temporal Investigations of Polar Lacustrine Systems. This initiative focuses on studying the lakes in Antarctica over time and space to understand their ecological dynamics and climate history and how these fragile freshwater systems respond to environmental changes. And they do have some good publications from the lake sediment course uh, and the next project is PRAISE, which stands for Prince Bay Air Ice Sea Interaction, which is a significant initiative by NCPOR aimed at understanding the complex interactions between atmosphere, sea ice, and ocean in Prince Bay region of East Antarctica. The PRAISE laboratory, not laboratory, I'm sorry, observatory is situated on the land fast sea ice of Quilty Bay, which is near Bharati Station. This strategic location allows for year-round monitoring of the air ice sea interface, providing valuable data on seasonal and interannual variability in this region. Next project is Sonic, which is a collaborative research initiative between India and Japan. It was launched in 2019, I guess. And its primary goal, again, it's a work on lakes mostly, and its primary goal is to reconstruct past climate conditions by analyzing sediment cores extracted from various lakes in the Chirmakar Oasis. This is near Maitri station. Then then there is MAD ice, which stands for mass balance dynamics and climate of the Dronning Borderland coast. So this is a collaborative Indo-Norwegian research project aimed to investigate the coastal region of Antarctic ice sheet, focusing on how it has changed over last several millennia. It essentially combined radar with some ice core studies and to highlight limits of regional climate records and integrating glaciology with geophysics. With over joint publications produced, I think the best person to contact for this project, because I'm not an expert of it, the best person to, if you have any questions, I think the best person to contact would be Vikram from NCPOR. Um, then, then this new project called Sense Survey in Dronning Modland. It is it completed its first season last year and got some interesting initial results of the ice shelf cavity. And we with Professor Reading and uh, Tobias also, we are. I think Vikram is the main person for this project, and maybe there are plans to kind of expand on uh, this area, and then look for Indian and Australian collaborations. So basically, India has been making significant strides in Antarctic research through strong international collaborations, partnership with countries like Norway and Japan uh, have enabled some cutting edge studies on ice dynamics, climate change, and paleoclimate reconstructions. These joint efforts not only enhance our scientific understanding, but also positions India as a key contributor to global polar research. So coming to the hard rock, uh, hard rock geology part, which is what I do. So we have been investigating coastal exposures of Larseman Hills and adjacent areas since 2016. This terrain is essentially a granulite grade terrain, and uh, like there have been so we study in both for metamorphism and how that metamorphism give us inferences for the crustal evolution during neoproterozoic times. Then similarly, work has been done in Westfold Hill area as well, which is also a granulite terrain essentially, but of much older age, Archean to Paleoproterozoic age. I'm not going in much detail of this work. If you have any specific question, I'll be happy to answer during discussion. So a good number of uh, publications have been out from this work in last 6 7 years, uh, or maybe less actually. From 2019, and uh, this this work is still ongoing. Similarly, the Geological Survey of India has some stakes in multiple glaciers and has actively contributed to glaciological research in this region. Their work has led to uh, sev- to some recent publications as well. Now, coming to the point of where I think India and Australia can collaborate is here. Now, India is expanding its research to adjacent areas of Larseman Hills. This initiative started in 2020. The idea was to cover and investigate areas within 400-kilometer range from Bharati. So a basic survey was done in 39th expedition, but then COVID happened. So the first field season was planned to take place in 2020. However, due to COVID-19, the field plan got delayed and was finally launched during 41st ISEA, which was in 2021. So the question is, why this expansion? Basically, because this area is important for multiple reasons. For example, it hosts the largest glacier in the world, the Lambert Glacier, with a very strong flow convergence and acceleration near the coast. In reality, I think it functions like an ice stream, which is a fast moving part of an ice sheet, and its movement um, and the and the geology of nearby areas and its interaction with the rocks and everything is crucial for assessing the broader impacts of ice dynamics. Also, from the perspective of supercontinent assembly, this area is significant because it comprises of geological blocks with Indian affinities, which is important for studying major tectonic activities of the past that shape the Indo-Antarctic region. Then comes the magnificent Gamberts of subglacial mountains. So, as shown here, because these are completely hidden, we know very little of this mountain belt. Of course, because it's completely covered in ice. One cannot directly probe into it, but one way to learn about this belt is through PL, which I'll explain briefly in my subsequent slides. Also, interestingly, recently, some crustal thinning and shallow lithosphere asthenosphere boundary has been reported from the coastal segment of PL. This, along with the fast moving Lambert ice stream, make this region particularly vulnerable to effects of heightened melting. So, for all these reasons, it is imperative to uh, to know the hidden geology of this sector, and hence and this was the main reason for eh, starting this GeoEAIS initiative. So to support field seasons in and near Ameri region, we have strategically established multiple fuel dumps. One is at Rheinbold Hills, which is about 200 something kilometers from Bharati, 227 kilometers from Bharati, to kind of facilitate um flights near Ameri Ice Shelf. And another is en route to Grove Mountains, where fieldwork is planned for the next expeditions. Additionally, Holders Peak here has been selected for a base camp, which is just 70 kilometers from Bharati. It has been stocked. We have kept some modules there, and it has been stocked with fuel, food, and emergency supplies. It is designated to serve both as a safety stop and a future operational base for work around this area, directly supported if it can be supported directly from the expedition vessel, and so there are plans to do that. And then melon huts have also been installed at Rheinbold Hills. An automated weather station was installed at the Rheinbold hilltop through a collaborative effort between Space Application Center with NCPOR, which is to enhance real-time weather monitoring in this region. Geological fieldwork has been conducted at multiple key locations, and which continues to be an active part of ongoing projects. Apart from investigating just the exposed outcrops, we are also focused on sampling of boulders, erratics, then comes and glacial sediments. Locations of these locations were marked using high resolution satellite data, and we have got some very good preliminary results from these, which I'm not showing here, but then because it's still an ongoing work. And then this is one of the way which we can use to to understand about or to explore the gambits of subglacial mountains. We have also collected some glacial debris and some like good amount of samples and very different lithologies which are not exposed in coast have been collected from these U-shaped valleys exposed in Rheinbold and Westfold and Moraine Islands and multiple other locations. So, other than this, as part of GeoEAIS initiative, the Geological Survey of India conducted fieldwork in the Beaver Lake region, which is in the western part of Ameri Ice Shelf and in North Prince Charles Mountains. The primary objective of sampling the coal beds. So the aim is to explore their correlation with the Mahanadi Rift system in India, which is a key segment of the conjugate Gondwana rift system. So, so like in last 3 years, I can say, yeah, in last 3 years, geological investigations in Ameri region have gained momentum, but with the overarching goal of developing the first well-constrained sub-ice geology map from this sector of East Antarctica. This approach combines detailed outcrop studies, structural as well as petrological analysis, with rather very limited geophysical surveys. There were plans to collaborate with Dr. Fausto, and then when he was in British Antarctic Survey, but then uh, something happened, and then COVID happened, and then it didn't work out completely. So our current uh, geological investigations aim to untangle the complex orogenic history of the Ameri region. We are also exploring the crustal architectures, I can say potential links with the Gambarserv Mountains in interior of the PL. Other objectives also include investigating the Lambert Rift's age and evolution, its post-rift sedimentation patterns, and how they correlate with Indian continental geology. And finally, the cryosphere evolution studies to quantify past and present um, ice mass loss in the Ameri Shelf region, which is again essential to understand the dynamic behavior of this Lambert Glacier and Ameri ice shelf. So there have been one development that seismological observatory has been established at Larseman Hills, very near to Bharati station, and the data reveals a detailed crystal architecture beneath the region. There are plans to expand on this. The key findings have indicated a crystal thickness of 37.9 kilometers around the intracrust layer located at 16-kilometer depth, characterized by felsic rocks and a high crustal shear zone, shear wave velocity. So, like overall, these variations likely mark the boundary between the Archean age Westfold Hills, which is essentially a cratonic part, and the younger Larseman Hill sector. So I have kept it very short and crisp, and so to kind of summarize from the GeoEIS perspective, we I think we can have like a discussion on these, but then from GeoEIS perspective, we actively invite collaborations to pursue the broader scientific goals for Pritz Bay Ameri region by focusing on joint geology, geophysics projects, seismological surveys, and uh, high resolution maybe airborne magnetic data acquisition or some other data which can be integrated with geology. We aim to deepen our understanding of the subice crystal structure. We believe that through these collaborative efforts, we can achieve more comprehensive insights into this critical part of East Antarctica. So I believe this could be potential gateways for strengthening India Australia partnership in Antarctic research. So with this, I'll just say thank you for listening and thank you for bearing with my voice today. And I'm happy to discuss any questions or ideas.
How further questions in the room or from the chat? So I might start by you mentioned a better meeting today with other colleagues as well at the Indian program. And one thing that really struck me was the quick leading time for projects. Could you say something about how the decisions are made within the organization for supporting international collaboration, or how like a decision process?
Yeah, so NCPOR invites projects in around February of every year, and it would be good to kind of have discussions before that and submit proposals, and then because these are reviewed by Ministry of Earth Sciences India, and then there are seminars which happen in April, and then like once it is selected, so like we NCPOR has a way of like has a committee, and there are people there in like from ministry as well. So like they whether they it's up to them to decide whether a project will can go. But one thing is very important, that like they they entertain a project with very clear logistic requirements, and that too with good timeline, and like with what you want to achieve in first year and second year. And obviously projects for multiple years uh, are better sought after. Yeah, and then decision is taken by April end mostly, and then after that, like I for Indian participants, we have to undergo some medical examinations and some training at in Himalayas. So like for icy experiences, and then we depending upon the project, and depending upon when and how we have to reach Antarctica, which station and how our work will start. So depending upon that, it is decided whether to go by flight or whether to sail by ship.
Thank you for the talk. So I know this is really not your favorite phrase, the coastal mooring. Do you know if that one is that a long-term monitoring project, or that was just a one-off?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear properly.
If I repeat it once again, so the question is about coastal mooring. So the project you showed from Amory,
Right.
with the moorings.
Yeah,
That was
the
one
praise, right?
praise, yeah, thanks. Was that a multi-year project, or was it a one-off season?
Was it what? Sorry, really sorry for this disruption.
So it was for 9 years, or was it just a one-off survey?
Yeah, I think it is only an initiative of NCPOR so far, but then yeah, there are I think there are I think they are expanding it to include maybe Russians into it. Not like I'm not very sure about it. I think the best person to contact for this would be Dr. Rahul Mohan, and he has a better idea on that project.
Questions? or comments? Very quiet.
Been a very rich set of discussions, so thank you. I think I'd just like to say what an amazing thing the Instant Fellowship Program is, and it's rather prestigious. It was very much to Dr. Devsamridhi's credit that she won this prestigious fellowship. And yeah, there's been many discussions over a good number of weeks on the underpinnings, the continental underpinnings of the great ice sheets, which of course are changing rapidly. So yeah, just because there's people in the room, I'd like to say help. What a terrific thing it's been, but Tobias and Dev have worked together on this fellowship, and there's many aspects of collaboration, and also there was some support from ACEAS as well. Yeah, so it's a very rich set of collaborations already, and yeah, it's great seeing the geological foundations being acknowledged for their very important role.
About international collaborations, but maybe a deeper trench to bridge sometimes is interdisciplinary collaborations, and this is where Dev and I start to talk. This one says like, well, give this, we can always generate different models, show whatever you want sometimes, but then we have geologists come in, but we describe them in the near model, it's the underground, and that's sort of the starting point of try to really integrate qualitative observations with quantitative planning when learning from them.
Program. Do you know much about what happens in the geology program, or is there a geology program out of the Dronning Moorland side of the Indian program? Do you have geology projects there too?
Yes, yeah, so there, like we have been, not I particularly, but then there have been geological works done in Dronning Moorland by Geological Survey of India, as well as some other institutions in India and Africa also. And but however, it's still ongoing, but not in full swing, because so we have plans to kind of rebuild Maitri, because Maitri is an old station, and so like maybe in next 2 years the program, like the uh, uh, we'll start rebuilding Maitri. So like for now, NCPOR is, it is taking for geological projects for Dronning Moorland, but at little less capacity.
So, focus on the Charles Mountains with the Permian coal and basin there. Is that project also interested in general about the basin history, or just focused mainly on the coal? Are they also sampling through this particular more broadly?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
I was just wondering about the basin projects. You said they were focused on the coal. Are they also focused on the broader stratigraphy and the formation of the basins in the Permian, or they're more focused on the coal in that project?
In Dronning Moorland, you meant? Sorry, voice is breaking. I'm really sorry for this.
I'm sorry about the technical issues today. So the question is about the Beaver Lake survey.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Where the geological survey looked at the coal beds.
Mhm.
If part of the investigation also look at the bigger scale basin development, or if it's focused only on the quality.
Yeah, for now, I think they are focused on only on coal analysis. This was a special project from Ministry of like it. It's not for economic importance, I know. I mean, we cannot explore that area for coal, but then it's important to understand for for Gondwana evolution particularly, and how these rift systems are kind of whether or not they are conjugate or not. So it was focused on that, and they have generated some good data, which because of some reasons they couldn't share any in like interpretation so far. But then because it's but then yeah, I think there are plans to like have multiple field seasons in northern Prince Charles Mountains to kind of work on other objectives as well. Yeah.
That's not a- Thanks.